Two protesters struggling to survive after being hit when a car plowed into a crowd on I-5.
I saw headlights coming around this curve, so I jumped out of the lane.
The warning tonight from the Washington State Patrol for anyone planning to protest on the interstate. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Lindsay Sheldon. This crash happened at about 1:40 this morning in the midst of a protest on I-5. Protesters have been walking onto the freeway for the last 3 weeks to protest the death of George Floyd in Minneapolis police custody. KIRO 7's Deborah Horn is live for us along Olive Way overlooking the freeway. And Deborah, both of these victims were badly hurt.
In fact, Lindsay, both are still in the ICU. And as you say, they were a part of a group of protesters who have been coming down here on I-5. And you see those orange markers where they were. But this morning, that decision nearly cost two people their lives. What happened, say those who were here, came without warning.
I heard someone yell, "A car, a car."
Citizen journalist and musician Mark Taylor Canfield was covering the protests on I-5. He says the atmosphere was festive until just after 1:30 Saturday morning.
I did see the car move through the crowd, and I saw the protesters hit. And it was a terrible scene. Terrible, terrible scene.
Eyewitnesses watched in horror as a car plowed into the crowd. Most protesters scrambled to safety, but two of them never made it. We are stopping the video right before the moment of impact. Washington State Patrol had set up barriers just before midnight to try to keep the protesters and vehicles apart.
So he went around a series of vehicles that were blocking I-5 and went around on the shoulder where a group of pedestrians were standing.
Captain Meade insists pedestrians should not be on the freeway for their own safety.
And we've said that steadfast. We've worked tirelessly to separate motorists from pedestrians, fearing a tragedy like this could very well happen.
Stunned friends have identified the victims as Summer Taylor, a non-binary 24-year-old from Seattle, a compassionate veterinary assistant, they say, devoted to fighting injustice. Also injured was 32-year-old Diaz Love from Bellingham. Now their devastated supporters worry that this will overshadow their message.
I just hope that people can stay focused on the reason that these protests are happening, because it is a movement against racism and police brutality and for justice and equality in this society.
But Captain Meade does remind everyone that it is illegal to be a pedestrian, to walk on I-5. He says he hopes what happened early this morning will convince them not to take their protest here, in fact, to find someplace safer. A friend has started a GoFundMe account for Summer Taylor. They were trying to raise $20,000. When I checked just a few moments ago, they had raised more than $32,000. Reporting in Seattle, Deborah Horn, KIRO 7 News.
Thank you, Deborah. And our team coverage continues with KIRO 7's Ryan Sims tonight, who's looking into the suspect in this case. And Ryan, investigators say they don't know if he deliberately meant to hit those protesters.
It is one of the main things they're looking into with this entire case, Lindsay. That's because authorities do believe that the suspect entered this spot of the freeway through an off-ramp. Now, in videos we've seen, it doesn't appear that he made any effort to slow down or stop before those two protesters were hit. The suspect's name is Dawit Khalid. He is 27 years old. Today we found several social media accounts matching someone with that name from here in Seattle. But until we get concrete proof that those accounts were his, we're not able to show you his picture. What we do know is that troopers say he did not have drugs or alcohol in his system at the time of this incident. Yet they say he somehow managed to get past the roadblocks. Again, he went the wrong way up an off-ramp and plowed into those protesters. As a result, he is expected to face several serious charges going forward.
But at the very least, looking at vehicular assault charges right now, felony hit and run, but those could be upgraded depending on the progress of the investigation.
Now, Khalid will be in court on Monday. KIRO 7 News learned he has been in trouble with the law before. A check of his record, in fact, shows he's faced charges of assault, trespassing, and malicious mischief. Yet keep this in mind. Each one of those charges was years ago, and each one of them was eventually dismissed. Now, absent on that record as we come back live are any traffic infractions. Yet, as you just heard, he is expected to face several driving-related charges and serious charges at that in the days ahead. Again, he will be in court on Monday. We are live in downtown Seattle tonight. Ryan Sims, Cairo 7 News.